Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the metaverse. We seem to have a hot signal broadcasting audio, and we do not have any overlays on today, thank goodness. So that won't be a problem. We are still working on getting some of our equipment loaded and installed, like our Blackmagic Shuttle HD. And once we get that up, we'll have some more graphics overlay capability and some other things that I'll be able to control with two hands, because right now if I had a producer, I would be able to do it quite easily. So working with a full studio with one person is challenging, but it's a lot of fun too, and I'm enjoying the challenges of doing it. So my name is Chris. I'm with StreamCatcher Society, and we are a professional organization that is starting out and building up something that we hope is going to be really great for content creators all over the world to join and to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So we're not pitching today, but we will be on for many, many months before our Project M2 launch, which is about $1.2 million lift. It is real world assets with NFC 424 DNA tags. We've been working on this about 2 years now. We have experts. We've ordered specialized equipment from China. We've gotten it in. We are setting up. We are getting ready for production. We're doing 5,000 digital twins. We're doing all kinds of interesting, fun, and amazing things. And we're going to bring you real value with your JPEGs, with your 3D models, with your digital twins. We're going to bring you some value. So we're going to be really thrilled to do that. But that's going to be a ways down the road, and you're going to get to know us in the meantime. So today, what are we talking about? Wow. Social media, right? It's a phenomenon. It has spread the world. It has connected us. It has done all kinds of things. It's also been very bad for society in a lot of regards. Facebook is extremely addictive, for example. They all are. There are all kinds of issues where people are looking at, that person has this and I want that. There's, the coveting kind of aspect of it. There is all kinds of negatives, but there's just tons of positives too. We can reach out in Twitter and Twitter Spaces. We do audio hosting and co-hosting and working with other Twitter Space people out there to do audio spaces, everything from pitching your project. I do not like the word shilling. Please do not use it. Shilling is for snake oil salesmen. And I have been working for the past 2 years just listening to artists, working with them, talking to them like I have for the past 40 to help them succeed and achieve more. And Twitter has been a big part of that. The NFT space and the crypto space is pretty big on Twitter. Instagram is starting to follow suit. Of course, Meta, being the former Facebook, is pushing every button they possibly can to try to get traction on that. And there are many other social networks around, everything from Trump's Truth Social to you name it. And what do they want? They want, they want your eyeballs, they want your attention, they want your time. And the networks that are most effective, of course, have the most users on them. And we use primarily in the NFT and crypto space, at least around the circles I travel in, we use Twitter quite a bit. So today we're just going to kind of go over some Twitter stuff, go over some different things about how to operate Twitter a little bit better. I'm going to try, I think what I'm going to do is probably just go through some things on Twitter first on the computer, and then we might take a look at some actual things on the phone itself, some of the interface elements and different things. And we're also going to cover things like doing a Twitter audit. There are Twitter analytics sites out there that you can get. You can sign up for them. Some of them are free. Some of them are paid. They're all paid, but some of them have free options that gives you limited information, but it's useful. So we'll take a look at that and just kind of get a lay of the land of what kind of posts work, what's gaining traction, what to do and what not to do. There's all kinds of different kind of unwritten rules, if you will, to social media. So one of the other things that I'm going to stop saying so much. One of the other things that is important as well is that, and we've discussed this in Twitter Spaces before, it's a global economy, of course. It's a global world now where we're connected in that way. The internet has, with cellular and with mobile phones, the internet has really, truly gone global. And we're all kind of living in an Esperanto world, if you will, where, everybody's trying to speak English because that's pretty much the primary. And, the internet was written in English. It's using English terminologies. I think that if you ask, and I have, you ask people from around the world who speak in different languages and use computers in different languages with different keyboards and all that, English and learning it when it comes to interacting with the internet and with the denizens thereof generally is something highly desirable to have that skill. And there's a lot of fantastic artists and creators out there that we have spoken to over the last couple of years on Twitter, especially, that speak very, very good English. And they are constantly apologizing. Stop apologizing for it. Excuse me, just one moment. Little hair of the dog. Yeah, so there's a bunch of people out there on Twitter who are from Nigeria, from different places in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Russia, a lot of places, and they're doing their best and they're trying and they're getting online and they're speaking another language, which I cannot. I speak enough Spanish to probably get me killed or get me through, but that's about it. And when you get online, one of the things that you have to learn when you're in a global world like that is how to best communicate. So you listen to other people, listen to how they communicate, the words they choose to use, and don't not be yourself. But, when you get onto a Twitter space, don't say hello 47 times and, necessarily give us your life story unless it's part of, the artwork itself. There's just certain tacks you need to take, presentation, making bullet points, figuring out what it is you want to say and saying it quickly and concisely, and then saying it in a way that engenders questions from the audience. You want that interaction. So when you stop your presentation, and if nobody has a question, if nobody has anything to say, you haven't done a very effective job at leading them into whatever it is you're trying to lead them into, your world, your painting, whatever it might be. So anyway, let's move on to Twitter, and we'll take a look at what's kind of going on in the Twitter sphere for now. Okay, we got our split screen, yay. Okay, so of course Twitter, pops up and you've got your home page that you can set to your most recent tweets, or to set it to most recent tweets, or to a home timeline. So we can see here it says your timeline shows the latest tweets. So you can switch that to home, which are tweets that are recommended for you. They might be older, but they might have more retweets and follows or likes and that kind of thing. I don't particularly like to use the home timeline because I like to see things that are coming in real time and react to them, but that is an option that you can do. Pin to top, you'll see new tweets as they are shared when you're at the top of the timeline. So that's interesting. I think that might be new. Pin to top. We'll have to take a look at that. View content preferences. So if we go here and we view our content preferences, we can explore our settings, and we'll go into the settings in a little bit. So back out here. So this is the home timeline. This is the latest feeds. If you push up on your bar, you're going to reload the page and get your tweets. And for some reason, I don't know why, it starts down here and then you have to scroll up. I like to go to the top and then work my way down. It's just personal preference. You can do it any way you want. Mid-Journey, maybe? Let's see. Beloved comrades. Okay. So I don't know if that looks like a Mid-Journey girl to me, but it's interesting. Okay. So anyway, your timeline comes up and you're able to see your tweets. We're seeing the most recent tweets in my timeline here, and you can post tweets with hashtags. You can post tweets with @, which are going to be, to replying to people and that kind of thing. Of course, animated GIFs and videos and any number of up to 4 images per tweet that you can post. So one of the things too is that, if you're worried about your art being stolen, at this point, if you put it out digitally, the chances of it being stolen are pretty good. The chances of it being commercialized and used to make money are another matter entirely. But you may want to consider watermarks. You may not want to. I personally have been erring on the side of wanting to do watermarks, just small ones, maybe bugs in the corner, because at least it, stamps it. At least it's, your metadata is yours and all that other stuff, but at least visually it stamps it as being owned by you. And that's something you can consider if you're putting it out there. I don't necessarily, like I said, think it's that big a deal. Somebody took and stole one of my images. I just created a cool image in Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, kind of a mix. And somebody had a Halloween contest and was saying, post your art. And I just posted mine for fun. But what I had done, I was up hanging out with my wife in the evening, and I was doing it on the iPad. And so I just put a giant S, a big StreamCatcher, icon in the bottom left corner. Didn't care, transparency, nothing. And I just shipped it. I just sent it off to Twitter. And then the next day, somebody had stolen it, taken it, put it into some little Android or iOS app that animated part of it, for little particle effects, and put it up on OpenSea for like 17 cents. So that was even more insulting, I think. But anyway, so yeah, you're going to get your artwork stolen, but the whole idea of NFTs and provenance and moving forward is digital ownership. And, possession being 9/10 of the law. If you do mint your artwork to the blockchain, as far as I'm concerned, and I'd love to talk to copyright lawyers about this, but that's pretty much every bit as good as long as you can prove the, file ownership. If you have the PSD file or whatever it might be, that's every bit as good as mailing it to yourself or any kind of other form of copyright because you're time stamping it. So, and we have yet to see, I'm sure there's going to be a lawsuit that comes out where somebody sues someone for minting their art or their content to the blockchain. And, for some reason they got to it first, but it's not their content. And then, those things will have to be lined out in court. So back to, let's go ahead and go full screen here for a minute. Okay. So, we're looking at Twitter. Again, the Twitter feed, I'm showing latest tweets, and you can see here that all these tweets have, likes and retweets and replies. So this is your comments that if you comment on the tweet, you're going to have a comment that appears underneath this tweet in that tweet feed. So if you go to the tweet itself, you can see that it doesn't have any responses yet, but if I added a response, it would show up underneath here. Okay. And that's weird that I thought it said it had 51 responses. Oh, no comments. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Wrong one. So yeah, you've got this this tweet itself, and then the people that have replied to this tweet show up in the feed below. So you can comment there. You can retweet. If you click on here, you can retweet the tweet, or you can quote tweet. Retweeting is good. If you like something that someone is doing, and you really like it and you want to help them out, retweet it, because liking it is great and everything, but retweeting it is really where the traction comes in to help people out. So instead of just liking it, you can like and retweet it. And you can use these very strategically as well. So we'll get into that as well. So there's retweet and then quote tweet. So if we retweet it, it'll just retweet it out. And then if we quote tweet, this will bring up the tweet, and then above it, we'll be able to make a comment or post, an image or GIF, whatever, and that will become our tweet with his tweet underneath, linked. So we'll be linked in that regard. It's a little more interactive. It shows that you care enough to not just retweet it, but to also make a comment about it, or to add your feelings to it. And it's a little bit different than the comments because you're kind of taking control of the conversation and maybe steering it off to another direction, or putting it into another feed, another feed where you're going to have that information starting off with your tweet. It's not stealing or hijacking a thread or anything. It really is just, hey, I appreciate this tweet. I want to retweet it, but I also want to make a comment, and I don't necessarily want to make a comment and retweet it in two different places. So that's that. And also with the up arrow with the box, you can see that we can share this tweet. We can bookmark it, which the bookmarks are just abysmal in Twitter. It's one bookmark file for everything. And then you could copy the link, or you can share it via other means. And then you have some of the people that you talk to most or whatever in here that you can immediately share your tweet to and with. Now, some of the interface elements do not exist on the desktop. Oh, and I'm not even showing you the version. Excuse me. This was the share button, the share tweet. So you can share the tweet here, bookmark it. Like I said, bookmarks are terrible, just one big file. And you can copy the link and then share it via other means like messaging and that kind of thing. So if you click on that, you can even see you've got the different options that you can share it with. So there's that. And then, like I said, some of the interface elements do not appear on the desktop that do appear on mobile. So for example, the Twitter Spaces, that kind of thing. And we'll take a look at that on the phone in a little bit. So right there's the home navigation. If you tap on it again, it'll take you to the top, and then you can go ahead and do the slidey push thing, and it'll take you to more new tweets. And then, it just depends on how you like to do it. But I don't like to scroll up as I read. I like to scroll down. So I tend to go to the top and then, work my way back down. So again, personal preference. So you can explore, of course, in the Explore tab. This is where you search Twitter as well. If you're looking for Twitter Spaces, yeah, let's go over something with Twitter for a second. I am not privy to all of their back ends and everything, but I do know software development, and I've known it for a long time. And the way Twitter started out anyway, and the way I currently believe it still is to a great degree, is a glorified HTML5 website. It has a lot of custom CSS and a lot of custom PHP, and there's, of course, iOS and Android apps that they've created that basically are a container for that. And that's, I believe, why you have Twitter Spaces on Android and iOS, but you don't have them on the desktop. So because they'd actually have to code for that. With the iOS and Android, you kind of have Lego block programming to a certain degree. And so I think that that probably is the case. As far as Twitter Spaces and you viewing it on the desktop and that kind of thing, you cannot currently do that. They supposedly are working on it and gonna put out a new version for the for Mac and PC that will include that, but we have yet to see it. So if you one thing they do to get back to that point is, if you look at the Twitter interface, it can change from moment to moment. It's very strange. And one of the things that people don't understand is that, you can update an application on iOS or Android, and that, of course, updates the software. But there's other ways to update software. There's other ways to change interface elements and do different things, especially when you're dealing with something like Twitter, which is, like I said, heavily web-based. It's heavily HTML5. Everything on Twitter is a link, right? So it's a link to a file or a tweet or whatever else. So you're going to want to be able to search those things. You're going to want to be able to do all kinds of different things, and they constantly change the interface. And I don't know why, but I think it has to do with the device you're on, potentially the user that you are to some degree. Things like soundboards get taken away and come back. Spaces at the top in your home feed on the phone disappear and reappear. All kinds of things, it seems, are constantly being tested and thrown around. And sometimes, depending on the actual phone that you have, you may get you may get new features first, and it's just kind of a mess. So it's very unpredictable. And when you look at something like this, we're in the Explore tab, and on the phone, it's the same thing. They had a couple of months ago or a month ago or so, they had a whole Twitter Spaces section on the phone that was really, really good, and you could do all kinds of stuff and search in it and everything else. And then they just removed it. It was gone. And so we were back to the old way of doing things, which was in this Explore tab. You would have to search. So you would type something like this in the Twitter search space. You would type filter, spaces, and then hashtag NFT or hashtag 3D or hashtag whatever you want. Fried pickles, doesn't matter. But you're going to find that, and right now, of course, we cannot view any of these. If we tap on it, it'll say unable to join this space, okay, because it's not available on Mac yet, but we're working on it. Yeah, okay. Keep working. So the Twitter Spaces, here we've done the search, and you can see that these Twitter Spaces are showing up. So on the phone, all of these Twitter Spaces will show up. Some will be live, and there's a whole latest area. If you go to latest, on the phone, it works the same way. What you'll do in the search is that you'll immediately go to top, and then you just click on over to latest, And then you will find all of the Twitter Spaces. Generally, most of them are actually live and going on. Some have just finished, or you can play recording or follow host, that kind of thing. But most of them in this latest area are live and they're ongoing now. And again, we'll take a look at that on the phone. So don't be too freaked out about interface elements changing and things like that. People are always second guessing Twitter and network reliability and problems, and any number of things could be the reason. Their internet connection, the device they're using, network attacks going on globally at the time, Twitter itself, poor programming, the list goes on and on and on. So you're dealing with a network, you're dealing with a bunch of hardware and software, and you're dealing with a bunch of people running it. Things happen, but they do tend to change things quite a bit on the fly without notice. And you're just going to kind of have to get used to that, I think, going forward, because it seems to be the way of the future. So anyway, that's the Explore tab, and you can do all kinds of things in the search. And I was trying to research some more search capabilities, but I wasn't really finding a heck of a lot. I think if I go like this, and then type in, I think we'll probably have to put in filter here. So put it at the front, filter. I think that'll work. No. Let's try it without the filter. I do need to look at some more search stuff, but right now, so I've just searched for myself and after, which is a series of art that I'm working on, and you can see here that it came up with the results. So there's like 5 or 6, yeah, a little more than that. I've reposted it a few times. So the search capabilities are there, and you can go and look at latest. Find people. There I am, and photos. So you can break it down. This is all about databasing, filtering, indexing, finding what it is you want. And you can do that with anybody and anything. So in the search area. And that would be that. Now, if we go back to Explore, we can see that they have Explore, they have a lot of trending. There's trending news, trending topics. Let's go ahead and cancel that out. Oh, okay. For some reason, it's not canceling it out. Okay, I'm filtering the spaces again. Huh. Cancel. Why is it not letting me clear it? Okay, so go there, go back to Explore. Okay, so you can see right here, I just clicked on the Twitter news feed over here, entertainment trending Jeff Goldblum, and all it did was pop up a search for Jeff Goldblum. So in quotes, when you do something in quotes, when you're searching for something in quotes, by the way, maybe we should go over search in general, but that is going to search for an exact phrase. So anything in between those quotes, it's going to search for exactly like that. And if you do like a Jeff plus Goldblum, it would search for the both words independently of each other. So, this is searching for Jeff Goldblum. He's, for some reason, in the news. So we can go to latest. Now, I'm trying to get it clear. Oh, come back, Twitter. Let's see. Why is it not clearing it for me? Okay, well, let's try and quit it and go back in. I'm going to show you some Twitter analytics as well. You can see how many unique followers you have and who's garbage and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so now we're back. Oh, all right, back to the Explore tab. So if you have nothing in the search bar, you can see for you, it's going to give me kind of tailored and customized information that it thinks I might want. Oh yeah, Antifa and BLM, yay. Ripple, of course, XRP. China could invade Taiwan by end of the year, U.S. warrants. Well, okay. SHIB Army, West Virginia. So it's, it's trying to feed me things I want. It never does a good job. So we have trending. These are trending topics and trending hashtags. So we can see that right now, United States trends. We've got UFC 280, Liverpool. So you can kind of find out what's going on in the world. Again, this is much more powerful when you, well, this is U.S. elections. Here we go. This is a new tab. This is the kind of thing that they can add on the fly without necessarily doing an update. This is just another CSS PHP class, another web page, if you will. So this is West Virginia election news and updates. Okay, and I am in West Virginia, which is handy. So news, again, just standard kind of stuff, but really the Explore tab is going to be where you search for things because they removed that really nice spaces section from the bottom. Again, we're going to do filter, : spaces, and then, we could do 3D or NFT or whatever we want. And you can see that right now. Did we get that right? Let me make sure. Filter spaces 3D. Yeah, so there's no 3D ones out there at all. So we'll go boop, boop, boop. And we'll go NFT. And then back to latest. And then we'll take a look at that on the phone, like I said. So, the crypto and NFT space is pretty big on Twitter. The Explore tab is how you find them. And then it'll take you, like I said, first to top. And then you want to go to latest. And then, on your phone, you'll see all the Twitter spaces about NFTs or Web3 or whatever you search for that are currently going on. So the Explore tab is handy in that regard. Then you've got communities. We are starting our community very soon, and we will have that going for people. But there are other communities that you can join. Like this is the NFT Social Club. And it's kind of just a feed of when you have, 300 or 400 people in the group or 5 or whatever. This is just their feed. So, it can whittle down all the noise from the other people, and you can just see if you're interested in these 10 or 20 or 100 people in particular, and you find their stuff more relevant, it makes it easier to be able to find them when you do communities like this. So, and I don't call that a community. That's an organized form of a database inside of a database. Okay, so now we have notifications, and under notifications, you're of course going to have all and mentions. So mentions, it kind of gets confusing sometimes because you're like, well, who am I mentioned by, and this and that. So replies, mentions, just check them occasionally. Most of the time, you're not going to be in this area. You're going to be in the all, and you're going to see the replies and different things. Here's a good example. Okay, so whitelist perfect, drtails.ethmd. Garbage account, watch this. 0 followers, 2 following, okay? So what do we do with that? We immediately ignore these things and block them because here's why. They're garbage. I respect anyone that's out there trying to make money and do it in an honest way. A lot of these JPEG stock market deals that I keep talking about are nothing more than a bunch of people getting together to try and see who can get their money fastest and leave everybody else holding the bad bag. So I don't like them. So what I do is I just go in and I block these people automatically. If they send me DMs, I report them and block them for spam. And the reason is not because I'm a narc. Again, I've said this before. It is not because of that. I do not go telling on people. This is about safety, cleaning up the network, security. It is important, and I believe that we should all do the same. So, again, under notifications, you're going to have people replying back to you. You're going to have all the different things, people liking your posts, people retweeting, whatever it may be. You'll see all the information here. And then I highly recommend when people interact with your tweets, interact with them. I mean, it's not hard, right? It really isn't hard. You interact with the people that interact with you respectfully. And that doesn't mean you have to follow everyone or like everyone. There's definitely times, and we'll talk about following as well, but there's a lot of times where I will thank somebody for, tweeting or retweeting my post or whatever, and I won't necessarily be following them. Following and followers are a very important part of this as well. These are all, everything's gamified. One of the things that it's, whether you like it or not, the generations that came after me, I'm Gen X. So the generations that came after me live in a gamified world. They live in video games. They live in all those things, and everything has become gamified. So Twitter is no different. You're using a system. They're programming algorithms to ban certain people, to shadow ban other things, to make sure that the network stays clean, whatever their reasoning might be. You're playing a game. You're playing a game with the algorithms. You're playing a game with Twitter itself. You're playing a game with the people on it. And it may be very serious. It may be your business, and it is. It's our business, and we take it very seriously. But the implementation of it, the mechanics of it are almost like game-like. So you should be a little bit more careful about who you follow and following tons of people. You should have certain ratios, and you can hear everybody. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you need to have a 20% ratio. That's not the point. You have to be a human being on the network. Really, that is one of the most important things, is that if you're sitting there doing things that you remotely in the back of your head would go, would a robot do this? Like, retweeting 47 times in a row in 5 minutes, or doing things like that. Those are not good things. So being human, being a person, is that, let's say it's not your full-time job, because that's a different story. But let's say you do Twitter, an hour or two a day as part of your social media interactions, or maybe you do it more. We're on Twitter constantly with spaces and everything. But, as far as actual tweets go, we're probably spending about an hour or two a day, and we're putting a lot of focus on Twitter as one of our main social media outreaches right now. So that makes sense. But if you're doing that, 1 to 2 hours a day, you're not doing 300 retweets. You're not doing tons and tons of different things. You're not jumping all over, like a wild squirrel all over the network trying to make your bones that day. You're doing a slow incremental buildup, and you're doing it realistically, because you don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to stress yourself out. You don't worry about retweets and likes and all that other stuff. You have to worry about it to a certain degree. And when I say worry, you have to be aware of it and cognizant of it. But to worry about those things, it just stresses you out. We've been on Twitter. Let's see. Let's take a look here. This account, our Project M2 StreamCatcher account, was started in November 2020. And we'd been doing probably 6 months worth of work and research and everything before then, building up to that. I've had an account since 2009 on Twitter. But these train of thought, the crypto and NFT and Twitter space is not that big yet. And it was a lot bigger 6 months ago in the bull market, when there was tons of scammers and everything else around. But that's not the market. That's a blip in time. That's an anomaly. Whatever you want to call it, that is not the market we're in. That's not the market we care about. And good riddance to all of those people. We are building a town that the highway currently doesn't go to. When it gets there, we'll be ready. So for us, we're following 3,011 people. Let's take a look here. Following 3,011 people, and we have 2,503 followers. Not a bad ratio. We don't follow everyone that follows us back, only because we're trying to maintain some levels on our timeline, some different, we are curating. That's the thing I want people to understand. And I think that that's important to understand. Wherever you are in your life, whatever you're doing, curate your life. Curate the people you hang around with, curate the food you eat, make good choices, make better choices. And we all can do it. This isn't me preaching at you. I'm one finger at you, 3 at me. We all need to think about this, but you need to curate your life. And so as a business owner, as someone who's been in digital art since I was 7 years old, and been doing computers, and, wanted to do Star Wars since I was 8, and all those things, I find it very important to deal with things seriously as a business. And I'm not going to just follow anyone and everyone. We appreciate the follows, and we will follow back almost everybody as we can, but we are trying to keep ratios. We are trying to make it seem that we are being selective, which we are. We have to be selective. We don't want, the JPEG projects are a perfect example. If we were not selective, if we did not block all the scam accounts and all the different things, and we just kind of let it rip and became a promotion account, we'd be a very different animal. We would not be StreamCatcher Society. We would be a promo agency, and that's not what we are. I mean, not at all what we are. We promote and amplify, but on a much grander scale than thinking about, hey, I'm going to retweet you for $50 or that kind of thing. And we will get to some of those scam accounts and some of the dumb ass things they do soon. So we have, this many followers after 2 years almost. It's getting to be 2 years actually in about a month. So, or not even 8 to 10 days. So 2,503 followers over a 24-month period. That's about 50 followers a month. Now, am I happy with that? No, I mean, I'm not thrilled about it. It's not the best traction in the world, but we also haven't launched a project. We just started on YouTube. We've been building things up over time, and we've been doing a tremendous amount of research and listening to what people are out there dealing with, what they're frustrated with, the problems that have arisen in all these quote unquote communities that have either fallen apart or are about to, or are holding on, and kind of wondering what's next and how to really make this work. All of those things we are trying to avoid having in our timeline and other things. So if you want to follow us and we aren't following you for whatever reason, you can maybe let us know in the public timeline, hey, we'd appreciate a follow, and we'll see what we can do. But we want to make you better, and we want to be better, and we want to prove and show that we are better by surrounding ourselves with the best people that we can. And when you are, if you're just starting out and you draw a bunch of pixel art and you put it up there and it's inconsistent and it's not, and you're just hoping for a big sale, you need some help, and we're going to be glad to help you. But follows should be a little bit more precious. They should be something that you take a little bit more seriously, and you should wind up with a network that looks something like this. So this is a site called followeraudit.com. There's a number of these sites out there. There's another one, I believe called Twitter Audit that I did that came up with similar results. But we can look at here and see see some information on our account, and you'll see that we have a really, really good score. We have a 99.5% FA score, which is follower account score, I guess. 99.58, and the world's average is 93.2, which I don't think that's right. But then, numbers are numbers. This just kind of gives you an idea. Again, you can't take any of these numbers as gospel. The Twitter is a network that controls its own network, and what they do to control its own network sometimes is, they have the capability anyway to game numbers any way they see fit, with things you see, with things advertisers see, that, when you control the network, you control the data. So think about that. Fake followers, I've got 0.4% fake followers, 0.04% inactive, and I got 99.56% active followers. So that's pretty darn good, and I feel really good about that. We have 18.4 thousand tweets, again, 2,500 followers, 12.7 thousand likes, and 3,000 following. That's weird. 2,000. Oh, I'm following. Right. Yeah. So, and 2,500 followers. So we're going to build that up, and when we start to We've already started when we do our YouTube site and our Rumble site, and we get our website up, which is coming very soon. All of these things are going to help amplify our Twitter account and our Twitter message, and they're going to help grow our audience. But as we've gone along, and I've built a studio and put together all kinds of different things for the business and everything, and listened over the last 2 years, and white papers and pitch decks and everything else, we've spent a tremendous amount of time on Twitter learning, and it's been very valuable, and I think we've done pretty darn good. All things considered, I don't feel bad about only having 2,500 followers after 2 years. If, for example, you had somebody on the account who was doing it, 4 or 5 hours a day, or, was part-time or even full-time, and you're going to have to pay them commensurately, 40,000, 60,000 a year, something like that. You are going to have to expect, returns on that investment, where you're actually getting sales and you're getting things like that. We're still in the building process. So being in the building process, I'm happy with that. I'm fairly happy with the interactions we've been getting and everything else. That said, it's a bear market, and it is a bear market. Whew, rawr. It's bad. Things can always get worse, of course. Things can always get worse, but we are in a rough patch. Inflation is out of control. Energy prices are out of control. Stock market's down. Everything, of course, is connected. And that is unfortunately just the way it is. And really, you have no other option but to slog through, to make it through. Because what's the other option? Stop? Give up? I don't think so. You can't give up. You can never give up. Never surrender, never give up. Okay, so again, I don't know how many people would consider that a success or a failure. Professional Twitter experts, social media people, but for us, it's been a tremendous experience. It's been wonderful to meet new people and hang out on Twitter Spaces and listen to artists all over the world. It very much reminds me of the time I spent all the years in SIGGRAPH and the 3D Design Conference and different places, listening to artists, working with them, printing their prints, rapid prototypes, models, all kinds of stuff. It's a wonderful thing to be involved with a creative community, and we are excited about where things are going. And again, we haven't even sold anything. We have not, let me be clear. I have not listed one NFT yet. Not one. I have tons of art getting ready, website being built, all these things are progressing along a track. But I haven't issued one piece of artwork as an NFT yet, and I'm kind of glad I haven't. I mean, yes, people have made a lot of money in the bull market, and I wasn't ready, and I'm fine with that. I don't, that ship has sailed, and I'm not worried about it. But I am glad that I didn't go out and just willy-nilly start putting NFTs everywhere, because I really had the opportunity to learn a lot about what's out there with, OpenSea and lazy minting and foundation and Rarible and super rare and, all of the different marketplaces, a lot of them taking 15%, which we're talking eBay fees here, and I'm an eBay power seller. So I get it. You have to pay the piper, but for the privilege of being able to dump your images onto a web page, 15% is absolutely out of control, crazy. And we have got to find better companies and better people who care about the art community and the creator community and the maker economy to provide tools and support and amplification services and all those different kind of things that go beyond what these companies have done. Because you look at OpenSea and the billions of dollars they have spent, the outreach they could have done, the world tours they could have done, get bus tours, get out there, really pump this thing. And they did nothing. They did nothing. Less than nothing. They put out some kind of OpenSea format or something, or I even forget what it is. Nobody even talks about it anymore. It's that, whatever. And then, there are other natives. There are other networks coming up that I have been looking at. One, I just read a lot of the white paper and some information on Theta networks. So, there are interesting things coming out, with networks and with all these different cryptos and different things. But all the NFTs that people have minted, some have been successful, some have not. They have all learned lots of lessons that I have learned from them. So when I'm ready to open our fine art website that we're going to have in conjunction with StreamCatcher, I'm going to have a lot of my art up there. And what I'm planning on doing at this stage anyway is I'm going to probably issue some different series of art pieces on different blockchains. So, some on Ethereum, maybe on Solana, Tezos, and just kind of do some A/B testing. Really, that's what marketing is about, right? You test, you find out who's where, what they're buying, what's going on. And again, a lot of these marketplaces right now, you've got investors, you've got people maybe who have made money with early crypto and that kind of thing. And they're looking to buy art. There's a lot of artists who are buying other people's art. The market is fairly small. So like in Twitter Spaces, for example, when you go into a shill space, you are generally trying to sell Bibles to the church. You're in there with a bunch of other artists going, buy my art. So that, yes, people are selling art that way, and they are selling pieces here and there and whatever. But, on a grand scale with the mass consumer market that is the earth, we're talking about a very, very small market. So we need to break out of those, chains, break out of those bubbles, and really expand and let people know about our creations and our work beyond the scope of, oh, it's an NFT, or, oh, it's on the blockchain, or this or that, because those things will come. Does the art stand up? Does the creation stand up? Does the experience matter? And speaking of experience, I just wanted to let you know on the back screen here, when you can see it, this is just some AI art that I've got for the After series that I've been rendering out, that will be taken out and chopped apart and composited and to make images and AR images. And so I just thought I'd play that in the background. Okay, let's get back to Twitter real quick. Let's see. We have, so that was the communities tab that we ended at. Again, you can start your own community on Twitter. All of these networks are ghettos. And I love that term. I love that word that was used first by Matt Drudge on a show that will go nameless, because I might get banned after 5 episodes. But Matt Drudge had said that, Facebook and Twitter and those kinds of things are internet ghettos. And he was absolutely right. What did he mean by that? Well, they're not the internet at large. When I was a kid and we were playing with the VIC-20s and the Commodore 64s with the 300 baud modems, dialing in through ARPA-DARPANET phone numbers to .mil and .edu servers. We were playing with the core frameworks, the basics of the internet back in the 80s. And when in the 90s, you got Netscape Navigator and you got all these things, the internet was a much freer and open place. You could go around to any number of things. In fact, that was the only thing you could do, right? Was to go to web pages and find information on different things. And people were posting it like, wild people in the 90s and getting things up. But we started to have these mega gloms come in, like Facebook and other things. And a lot of people, when they think of the internet, when they use the internet, they don't go out of these internet ghettos. They don't go out of Facebook. They don't go out of Twitter. They barely click links. They are stuck in these places. And one of the really important factors that Matt didn't go into with this is that they're internet ghettos because the product is you. You are their product. You're their cash cow. The information you generate, the content you generate, the links that you make between people the ads that are served to you, all of those things, you are the product. And when you go to get Twitter analytics and you go and get Twitter for Business and you pay for ads and you do all those kinds of things, you should expect that you're going to get good results back as far as data that actually is accurate, but you never know. People are in control of their own networks. At the top, there's businesses, boards, whatever, but they control the networks. And when you control the networks, that gives you a lot of power. So communities, when you build a community, when you build it in Discord or you build it in Twitter, it's very, 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 very difficult to monetize that. Just absolutely horridly difficult. And the reason is that you're not thinking of it like you would any normal business. So if you have a business, let's say before the internet, right, you had a storefront. And if you were selling vacuum cleaners or eyeglasses, doesn't matter. You have a storefront and you might have a sale and you might advertise in the paper to get that sale out. You might have a guy holding a sign, spinning it, on a Friday or Saturday to get traction, to get people in. But whatever you were doing in that store, you had to find some way generally to get the word out, TV commercials, radio, whatever, that you were in business, that you were operating, that you were open, and that you had stuff to buy. And when we look at the modern day with social media and with the internet and everything else, nothing really has changed except you dumped a ton of tech stacks on top, right? So, we started out in the 90s where and the exuberance and the joy and everything in this space is awesome, but it's like total deja vu because I've had it. I had it in the 90s exactly like this in a different way. Exactly the same, but different. the exuberance of being able to say, oh, look at this internet. We can, as a small business, we can compete. We can build our own websites. We can be a brand. We can do all this stuff. Exactly what I'm hearing now. And we look 20 years down the road, and where have the small businesses gotten themselves, right? So some have gotten themselves very far. And let's talk about Gary Vee for a second. Why not? He always seems to come up. Gary, started a business back in the 90s from his father's wine, I believe wine and spirits business, just distribution in the tri-state area up in New Jersey and New York, I believe. And saw the internet, saw what it was capable of doing, and created one of the first online alcohol businesses, and has made millions from it. So, kudos to him. There's a lot of other small businesses, and just like, small businesses, 90% of them fail. So this is, in line with the numbers. But when a small business gets out there today even and wants to start their business and do things, sometimes the website, in fact, quite often the website is almost an afterthought. And I have always found that interesting, because it's such a powerful way to get your word out. It's such a powerful thing to be able to have to use in any number of capacities, that anybody who's in Web3 and kind of poo-pooing a website is just an idiot, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about. A website is a URL, just like anything else. And by the way, .ios and .xyzs are not Web3. They're standard like a .com. That is your home. That's your digital home online, where you live, where you can lock the doors, where you can feel safe, where all of your content lives, and it's all generated from, and it goes out from there, and things come back to it. And that's where you push everybody to KYC them, to at the very least get their email address, but hopefully to sell them something and get, all their information and keep it and never sell it like jerks. But you want a website just to be the central repo. That's your central repo. Twitter's not your central repo. Discord's not your central repo. Somebody else owns that. Now you're paying for server hosting, you're paying for different things. You may not own the server that your website lives on, but you do. You own if you have if you go to WordPress.org and you download WordPress, and you can install it on any server. It's not the .com version. The free and open source one, you can load that sucker up with WooCommerce. You can get an entire website up and running fairly easily today, especially if you have like Divi frameworks from elegant themes like we do. You build yourself a website, and then you have a place to go to and a place to send people to. And all of your socials connect there. Everything connects there. When you're doing a project, if you're doing a project, not only have a website, Linktree, Linktree has its advantages because it's quick, right? You tap the button from a social media page. Excuse me. You tap a button from the social media page, and it takes you to a Linktree page that has all the links easily accessible. Put them on your freaking web page, on the home page, on the front, on the top. Duh. It looks more professional. It is more professional, and it shows that you care more about your stuff than just setting up a quick Linktree thing. And again, this is thinking longer term. If you're just in this for a pump and dump, or you're just you're thinking about selling some art and you're like throwing it up there to see what happens, maybe you don't need a website. I'm talking about people who are in this for the long haul, creative souls, people who want to make this a business, or already have, or doing it part-time and want to go full-time, people who are serious about it. So building communities is not community like we see here, but it does help. Okay, so everything is helpful, not being negative. Why do you want these things? Well, they're a great way to kind of organize stuff and get people involved and kind of see lists of who you've got going on, announcements. Discord being the same way. I really don't like Discord for a lot of reasons, as far as the UI and the UX, the plugin, security, all kinds of different things. DMs, it's just, I think ultimately it needs a ground up rewrite. However, there are powerful tools in it. There are things that people use. It's got 50 million plus users, easily accessible, iOS and Android. It's got video and audio chat. There are things that I'm winding up using with it, but again, it will not be my central repo. It can't be, because I don't own it. And I want to own what I own. You will own nothing and be happy? Bull crap. You know, it's not that things make you happy, but ownership, private property, the things that you own, yeah, fight for it because you want to own things and be happy, or just be happy and own things. So when you build a community, really think about where you're building the community, how you're building the community, what you're building it for, the control you have over your community, and how you funnel things back and forth. That's one thing we are actually working on and kind of struggling with right now because we can't find a really, 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 really good community platform that we like that is Connect Wallet capable, for lack of a better term. So we are still looking at all kinds of solutions. We will continue to look at them. And we have months to decide which solution that we will go with ultimately. But I can tell you that Discord will be used primarily for an onboarding tool to our other community, if it's used in that capacity at all. So just because something exists and just because something is easy, that should automatically throw up some red flags to you that something else might be up. So remember, Discord is monetizing you. You are the product. Your customers, your clan, your tribe, they are the product. Every piece of data that they're getting, you should be getting on your website, right? That's the way it should work. All right, so that's communities. But again, all these things, all these social sites, you know, what social site should I be on? Every friggin' one that'll have you. Go and throw mud on the wall. You know, even if you sign up for an account, one of the things that we teach people is that when they go to start a business, your identity, your brand and everything else, you know, you're starting to, Pudgy Penguins or whatever. The only reason I say pudgy, it's in my head. Okay. The Pudgy Penguins are fine. I think their floor is pretty high right now, but you know, Freaky Ferrets, whatever. Is that your brand or is that a project? Right? So our brand is StreamCatcher Society. It's an umbrella brand. It covers everything. But we've got other properties that we're developing in conjunction with that are underneath that brand. So we can do anything, you know, Pixar can do anything with the Pixar brand. They're not the Toy Story brand, right? So think about your branding like that. But when you do branding and you do identity and you do corporate identity, a ton of effort and research and time goes into, you know, what is the company? What are the ethos of it? Where's it going? Where does it see its future? And then once you get it all done and you get the identities done, and as you're doing them, you know, you've solidified on a name and everything else, you're registering that name with every friggin' social media site you can think of. We're putting a list together. You're making sure that your name is out there and owned by you on every social media site you can, you know, you want to participate in. But if it's there and it's free and it's open and it's available, throw them out on the wall, stick up a page, put up a banner, make some posts. Even if it's not your primary, you know, we're doing that with Facebook or whatever the hell they're calling it today, MetaFace or whatever. And, you know, we'll continue to do that as we have time to do it because it's just yet another internet billboard that you're slapping some information up onto that people can see. So I would just say, you know, do whatever you can handle, do whatever you can deal with the best, throw mud on the wall wherever you can, and focus on the ones that you think are the most important. So that's, you know, for us, Twitter, and right now we're expanding, of course, into YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Don't kick us off, please. Okay, so that's community. We'll do a lot more about community, definitely. We're doing a lot more about a lot more. Okay, so under notifications, again, we went over that. You have your all in mentions. We have our private messages here. That's all your DMs go into that area. Bookmarks, I've got some bookmarks and different things. I tend not to use the bookmarks in Twitter because I know that if I keep using them, it's just going to be a mess, and I just tend to bookmark things in my own notepad. And then we've got lists. So different lists that you can be on. You can find out new lists to get on that have, you know, everything from underwater basket weaving to NFTs to whatever you want. So you can find different lists. You can edit the lists that you're on and take them off or add some. Don't use that one too much. I really don't use lists too much. Again, your profile, this is your main page. This is where you can edit your profile, and you can, for example, change the image here. So we're going to go ahead and change the image now. This is one thing I don't like about Apple Photos, but it does work. It's not that it's bad. I'm going to go ahead and load my photos here and show you real quick that you can do this. There's my photos. So, okay, so got that one. So under photos with a select image dialog up from Twitter, I can simply drag this and drop it into there, and it's going to select my icon, and boom, and apply it. And I'm done. And then save, and then you can retweet it if you want, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, so you can retweet that you changed your icon. Okay, so we have, these are lists, you can do that same thing with your bio and edit your background image and all that kind of thing. And I'm going to actually get one that's not so blown out here. But anyway, so you've got your bio that you can put in. You need to be professional about it. Your website address goes in here, not in your bio. Make sure everything is spelled properly. You can put some hashtags in. This is probably a bit much on the hashtags. If you ask experts, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whew, 9. Yeah, that's probably 5 over what would be recommended. So I don't think that's necessarily too bad for your bio, but that is a kind of an unwritten rule. You don't typically want to go more than 3 or 4 hashtags. I would say 3 typically is, I try to, limit it to 3. But then and again here, my pinned post has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So kind of hard sometimes to keep down the hashtags if you're trying to make the algorithm see you and to make other people see you. But again, one hashtag here, a little bit of information, link to YouTube. One of the other things that, call it a bug, call it a feature, call it just is what it is. When you do a tweet, you can post a link. So if the link came up here, this was beforehand. And okay, let me backtrack on this. Okay. So I did this tweet before I had actually set up the live feed for YouTube. So if I had set up the live feed for YouTube and gotten everything ready and I just didn't start streaming yet, I would be able to click the link, the share link for YouTube, and it would have given me a link that would have displayed the thumbnail image that I have for this particular episode, and that thumbnail would have been hot. What I did what I did the other way was I went and copied the share link for the live stream that I know is valid, and then I pasted in a JPEG of the thumbnail of the video. So that's why it showed up there. So quite often you'll see when it's not like this, you'll see the name of the video, Twitter, the big blue bird, all this stuff, and then you'll see the Twitter link, and this image will be hot. But as you can see, this image is not hot. You actually have to click on the link. So that would be the difference in something like that. Anyway, you can go through your timeline, you can go through your feed, you can see tweets and replies that you've done, and this works the same with any account, of course, that you can see their tweets and replies, media, and of course your likes and people who are liking all your stuff. And this guy got Nuclear Samurai, shout out here, since it's my birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. 2 hours ago, he wanted to make a piece of art to commemorate it. So this is him blowing out the candles, or not him necessarily, but blowing out the candles. Creepy. Welcome to Halloween, right? We got what, 8 days? Yeah. Whew. Okay. So that's Samurai. Happy birthday there, buddy. We have some amazing artists and friends I will shout out for sure. Let's see our messages. Okay. And we could even go back here and we could say, go back to our tweets, and we could grab that. We could like our own tweet, and then we could quote tweet it and say live now. And then just tweet it. So the Twitter desktop app works similarly to the iOS or Android app, almost identical, but there are different things, and of course the layouts and different stuff. So let me go ahead real quick and take a quick minute or two break, and I'm going to grab an adapter and see if I can hook up the phone. Just give me 1 second. All right, let's see if we can hook this sucker up to our inputs galore. All right. Let's take a look at Twitter mobile. Let's see what we can see. Oh, good. We have it up. Okay. All right. So this is Twitter itself. Let me actually. There we go. Bring up that super source. Okay. So as you can see, we've got the main timeline up, and I'm on another feed that you can see here called Expert Advice Alumni. Shout out to Hey Cristiano at Brad Music NFTs, at Marie Ann Dream, and Chuck and WaltDiz.eth, WaltDisIF.eth at Walt Disney. You can find everybody at the Expert Advice Show, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitter Spaces every night. We're up to show 1 million. I don't remember, 167 or something like that. I got a great new person that came in, Liz. Shout out to Siri. We have Siri in our Expert Advice community. How expert is that, right? Siri in our Expert Advice community. Incredible. Okay. So, oh Lord, Siri just said, go ahead. Forget it, Siri. Okay. So go back to home here, and we can see we've got our latest tweets. Now, this is, if you can see here, these up at the top, this big blue bar, big blue rounded icon. You can slide these over. These appear and disappear at will. I have no idea why, but you can see that these are spaces that are going on right now, and you can go ahead and take a look right now. There's 133. Wow, 133 listeners, other listeners in this space. It looks like a lot when you see that other listener thing. Hold on. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I wasn't getting audio here. All right. So, yeah, we've got a Twitter space going on right now, Launchpad and Grill. This being held by it's Magic Eden. That's why. Okay, so Magic Eden is holding a Twitter space, and they are the hottest cross-chain NFT platform on Sol and ETH. So Magic Eden, I have heard good and bad things about, but we will talk about that another time. So yeah, we are currently in this space right now, but I'm not going to stay in it, so I'm going to leave that. Again, these, if you tap the home button, it goes scrolling up to the top, and then pull down, and it's going to refresh. And you can tap to the top, and then I like to work my way down, like I said. Again, these are Twitter spaces. They do show up sometimes for some people, not so much for others. I cannot give you any reason as to why or why not. But here we have 8-Ball Labs. You know, and one of the things too is that even if you're not interested in Twitter spaces per se, or don't want to go into them, which I highly recommend you try them, you can go out and just look and see who's running spaces, what's going on, what they're doing. Tap on their icon up here, and you can see the blue ring around it that says that there's a space going on and that they're in it. Or you can just view the profile picture, so Magic 8-Ball, right? So they've got 360 following, 366 followers, maybe a newer account. Shout out to the East Coast and West Coast. So we'll check him out maybe another time, see if he stays around. We got like Lab NFT. We got 3 people in here. So that's in your home timeline, and like I said, it could show up or it could not. But if you go into the search icon window here and you go to Filter Spaces NFT, you will see that you have the top, and then here's my buddy Tax. Give you a shout out, Tax right off there. He hosts spaces, a guy out in LA, nice guy, and artist himself. and gone through some tough times like we all have, but had his computer stolen actually at gunpoint from his house. Poor guy, I feel bad for him. So yeah, tax write-off. He did a space yesterday that was really good, and you can see it says play recording right there. But if we go to latest, that's where the magic happens. So latest, you're going to see that you're going to have spaces that are available to start listening. You can see Morgu here has retweeted this space. It's awesome. Space Cadets episode 10, weekly wrap up. We've got 14 other listeners. Somebody told me that when you see 14 other listeners quite often and you don't see the fields being filled up here, that means that they're on desktop listening, because some people can actually listen on desktop, which I used to be able to do it, but I can't do it anymore. And that's on Mac and PC. So again, they're taking features away, they're removing features, they're adding features, they're giving them selectively. It really all depends. So if swipe down, you can also, if you go here, the up and out arrow, we need a better name for this little icon. The up and out arrow, the up box, if you tap on that, you can invite somebody to the space via DM, share it via tweet, copy link, or share via, and then you can go to all your other options like mail and messages and that kind of thing, or AirDrop on Mac, on iOS, I mean. So that's another space that's going on. Oops, but back to the latest. And it's a little more active right now, a little more active today than it was yesterday. There was actually a period of time that there were no NFT spaces going on, and I think that was a first. So yeah, just keep going down the feed and you can find different things, and sometimes you're going to find Twitter spaces in different languages. Sometimes you're going to find stuff that doesn't apply to you, but the idea is that you want to find people that you can hang out with, talk to, and sometimes the smaller rooms. I much prefer the smaller rooms. There's ones with hundreds of people in it that I generally don't tend to hang out in. I'll go and maybe listen if it's of interest or something like that. But the bigger spaces, I'm not too interested in. I like more one-to-one. I like more interaction with people. Okay, so that's that. We go back to our home. So that's your search again. Filter spaces NFT with filter colon spaces, and then now they have this audio section on the phone, which is kind of like the Twitter spaces that they had before in this tabbed section, but it's not the same, and it's much worse, and I don't like it, and I don't use it at all, really. I mean, it's like I probably should. Oh, see, now that's starting something. Yeah, I don't like this whole tab needs to go back to what it was. It was bad. So it's bad now. It was good before. So that's the audio tab. But the one thing it does that, of course, is awesome is it allows you to start a Twitter space. So let's talk about starting Twitter spaces. Just one moment. I fully believe, excuse me, by the way, sorry. I fully believe that I would probably have 8 to 10,000 followers, no problem. Maybe even 12 or 15. We have put in the sweat, we have put in the time and the effort. The amount of people has dropped dramatically on Twitter. If you've been around, you know the spaces that used to have, hundreds of people now have 10 or 15. The things have cleared out quite a bit. The bear market has ensured that people are out there busting their hump to pay their bills and to do their regular jobs. And a lot of these people, myself included in the past, a lot of these people were doing this part-time to make some extra money or to get ahead or to try and make it a full-time business, but doing it part-time. And so bear markets hurt. They hurt all the way around. They hurt for interaction. They hurt for engagement. They hurt for followers. They hurt for sales. They're not good. And what you have to do is just get through. So that's what we're doing. We had somebody contact us in DM just yesterday and was talking about, they had said, I just posted my YouTube video. I think it was yesterday. I was thinking about 24 hours and I only have 6 views. Well, what's wrong? What do I do? And that's the thing. Everybody can be successful at any given level that they want to be successful at, depending on their abilities, their resourcefulness, their capabilities, their resources that they have. When I think of Mr. Beast, it's a perfect example. You have somebody on YouTube who, his first video, he went out and gave $10,000 to a bum. Now, that's $10,000, right? But it went viral. It was so popular that he made the money. I believe he made enough money with that video to roll it over into another video and so on and so forth. But his commitment was total. I'm going to take every penny I've got and give it to this bum and see what happens and roll it over. And he did that. And he did it with an iPhone, I believe. It wasn't, he didn't set up a studio like this. That wasn't his purpose. It wasn't his goal. But whenever you set goals and you start doing things, you have to be realistic about your expectations. So where am I? What do I expect, right, out of this? I really don't expect anything, honestly. I don't expect hardly anything from anyone at this point in time. We are building our catalog. We are building our resources. We're building our teams. We're getting to know you guys. I mean, how are you going to want to deal with somebody on an ongoing basis for years, possibly at a time, for years moving forward, if you don't like them, if you don't think that what they have to say is valuable, if you don't think that they're capable, and how do you make those decisions? I don't think it's very easy to do over tweets or over a web page or anything. We have the capability. I have the capability to come to you right now live, globally around the world, and I'm recording this and I'm building my library. That's what we're doing. We're building a library of videos, of information, of resources, and the views will come. After time, the views will come. Now, maybe in the first few videos, the views won't come because they suck, but and they don't suck. I'm very hard on myself, but mistakes were made, overlays were done, audio was off. All, of course, getting better all the time, but we are building that catalog. We're building the content. We're building the library. That is so, so important. There has to be there, right? When you're building something, there has to be there. And go back to Gary Vee, my favorite whipping boy. Evidently, he's in my mind. I don't know why. Hi, Gary. Love you, man. He seems like a nice enough guy. I think that maybe in hindsight, he might do things a little bit differently than the way he did them. But you know what? He made millions of dollars from his NFTs. He has not ripped anybody off that I am aware of. But he designed a program, an NFT program, where he sold drawings. And those drawings were tickets basically to his world. And so he had a conference up at a big football stadium, and there was Snoop Dogg there and him, and I guess there were some seminars. And from a
meet and greet perspective, I think one of the most important things that it did was it showed that there is value and there is need for IRL get-togethers, for real social interaction beyond a screen, beyond a VR headset, that real interactions still are valuable. And I believe that fully. I think that they have to be much more, they have to be much better. They have to be much more experience driven than what Gary did. But I think that's the thing too, is that, what was he building? Gary is a motivational speaker. He's very good at that. He motivates people to work better, to try harder. I can even take these off. To work better, to try harder. And I kind of consider him the Tony Robbins of the NFT world. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people need that, and that's fine. But I ultimately think that there has to be more there. There has to be more solid resources and opportunities for people that you need to provide, a professional structure. And I go back to SIGGRAPH. That's my wheelhouse. That's where I came from. That's where I started out in. And I will eternally be grateful to the SIGGRAPH organization for that. Where I have parted ways with them in some regards is that I think that as an organization, they have failed to be what they were supposed to be. And I think in part that's because of who they are to begin with, which is a .org. They're a nonprofit branch organization underneath the ACM, the Association for Computing Machinery. And I don't believe that moving forward that kind of business is sustainable when you have a pure commercial component to it. The conference management, there's profit motivations, but then down the line, there's no profits for top organizers. There's no profits for local chapter, presidents. There's no motivation for people down the line to do anything except for the motivation to help the organization. And sometimes that's enough, and sometimes it's not. And over time, because of those two things, sometimes it is enough and sometimes it's not. Ultimately, I think you get what we've got now, which is SIGGRAPH has ignored the American market every other year by going to Vancouver. They are a shadow of what they were in membership and strength. The professional chapters, I believe, are just, I don't hear anything from them anymore. And I know the LA chapter has like 50 followers. So we need a new SIGGRAPH. I really, truly believe that. We need a new SIGGRAPH. We need a SIGGRAPH with a Pixar component, with a storytelling media medium component that we are developing, creating, profiting from, and our membership is profiting from the things that we make, and they're profiting from the relationships that we build, the conferences that we bring, the virtual events, the metaverse worlds that we're going to build, all those different things. We need a professional umbrella organization that is going to do that, and we believe that we can make that happen with StreamCatcher Society. Okay, enough of the rambling promo there. Let's go back real quick and take a look at some Twitter stats. All right, pardon me for a second. Just getting this back up and running. Okay. And here we go. All right. Let's go ahead and, if I can get my mouse back. This thing likes to slide off to my iPad, and I need to turn that off. Sidecar. I didn't turn it on to begin with, people. Where is my mouse? Lord have mercy. There we go. Okay. Jeez. That was difficult. Let's hide that. And we will hide that. Okay. So, getting back to some stats. These, stats can help you for sure, depending on, how accurate they are or not, even if they're just kind of ballpark. They can give you an idea of some things that are going on in your account. So I would highly recommend checking it out. This is, this is followeraudit.com. There's another one called Twitter Audit. I've got a couple more sites we can go over. Again, my follower account score is really high on this one. We've got a quality graph here that says 7.27% of followers with quality score of 9, and then 87.57 with a quality score of 10. So, I mean, if that is accurate, you know, we have a very, 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 very large percentage of our Twitter following that are solid, professional people that are involved in what we're involved with. And, you know, it's computer graphics, art, 3D, animation, NFTs, cryptocurrency, high-tech, VR, metaverse, you know, you name it, that kind of thing. We have been following. So we have a nice, clean feed of real people who are doing real things. And we can see here, detailed follower audit. So we've got followers inactive for a long time. Excuse me. Followers with very less, this must be a foreign company, maybe India or something, I'm not sure, but followers with very less tweets and followers with very less followers. Followers without profile picture. That's interesting. Followers without bios. Wow, 140 of you guys. Yikes. I got 140 followers that don't even have bios put up. Come on, people, get with it. Followers with uneven followers following ratio. Okay, that doesn't tell me all that much. Is this clickable? No. Okay. Followers with uneven followers following ratio. That's just weird. Followers without location information. That's interesting. So we've got 841 out of 2,500 followers. So that would be about what? 8, 16, 24. Close to 33% of people on our feed that we're following or that are following us do not want their location known for some reason. Maybe they say metaverse or whatever. Followers without a URL. So that's 797. That's less than I thought. I thought it would be more than that. And followers with spammy. It's spammy name username. Spammy name. Followers with spammy name, 87. So a spammy name or a username. I wonder what a spammy name or username is. Followers with uneven followers, right? Okay. So let's go down to here. We got verified followers percentage and protected followers. All right. Percentage of protected followers. So protected would be the people that protect their tweets for some reason. So location-based followers. Now we have to upgrade to premium. That's where we get into some of these places want $50 a month. I mean, come on. Get real, will you? $50 a month for Twitter analytics? Come on. Now these guys. Let me get clear on this. Because I don't know if they're. I think these are the cheaper one. Yeah, upgrade to premium. This one is actually. No, it's okay. Pay yearly. Okay, well, yeah, this is better. But that's just for basic, okay? And here's the other thing I hate about these charts. Okay, so you're free, that's your crack, right? That's your first, that's your first hit. Ooh, you like this? It's free. And then it's not. So basic is $180 a year. Professional is $300 a year. So that's what, 32? I mean, you're looking at what, $26 a month? Yeah. $28 a month, something like that. And then you got corporate for $479. These aren't the worst prices in the world by a long shot for some of the ones I've seen, but it's just, I think it's out of control. It's not commensurate with what should be. I mean, if software as a service is great, guys, but if you're Adobe and you're charging me $600 a year, well, okay. So why are you charging me $300 a year for professional for a freaking Twitter analytics? Are you nuts? Are you people out of your minds? The amount of clients and customers you have for this, if you took it down to $30 a year or $50 a year, you'd have 10 times the amount of customers. These numbers don't make sense. They never did to me. And then you got corporate, which whatever, corporate. But let's see the difference. 5,000, 20,000, 100,000, and 1 million followers. Okay, and they do give you some stuff for free, so it's helpful. I mean, thank you very much for the free part. But when you get to basic and professional, you got 20,000 or 100,000 unlimited, and then you go down to here and let's find out. Okay, look, thank you. At least everything's included on every level, because generally what you get with these charts, is you'll have take the corporate out. Usually you usually have free, basic, and professional. That's like the standard, right? And the free one is your crack. That's your free hit, your free taste. And then your basic is like basic, and it has everything you need except for like 2 things. And then the 2 things that you really need, are going to need probably down the line, usually down here. And that's the difference between this and this. So, 180 versus 300 is the 2 things. So really what they want you to do at all times is to go with the pro version. And what you wind up doing is stepping up after a while, because those 2 things that are in professional that you missed in basic, that's the kind of thing. But at least with this company, they don't do that. They give you everything, and they simply limit it based on the follower count. So that makes a little bit more sense. Again, the pricing is it's stupid. I'm not going to pay that for that. Now, maybe if I had somebody full-time on staff doing Twitter for multiple properties and multiple businesses, that would be something I could absolutely justify potentially paying for to get our numbers. It's a matter of economy of scale. But for small businesses, generally, you're going to stick with stuff like free, because this is the nickel and dime you, death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing, where by the end of the month or the end of the year, and you're doing your taxes and you do all your expenses and everything else, you find that all your profit goes to all these little software service companies, and you don't have nothing to live on. So anyway, but it is helpful. Like I said, I'm thankful that they're providing some information here, and some of the information is valuable. Let's see what else they provide. New follower audit. Oh no, I already did that. Wait a minute. Okay, so yeah, that should be. Yeah, that's basically about all you're going to get on this one, and then. Where is the other one? That's my A2. Okay. Yeah, this one's interesting. 14-day free trial, yabba dabba. Okay, so this is dashboard.audience. That's AUDIENSE.com. Zoom in here. We'll get this in our show notes, of course. Audience.com. So, that would be the URL that you would type right there. Whoops. Audience.com. Okay. And this is another Twitter analytics. This gave us some very interesting information that I would like to share with you here. And I am not, by the way, doing my Twitter, my YouTube comments, because I can't currently deal with that. So if anybody's in comments and wants to see anything, maybe tweeting at me would be better. So, yeah. Okay. So audience.com. Let's see, is that? Yeah. Okay. So we can take a look at some interesting numbers here. So for the StreamCatcher account, we have, this is full audience and then global general audience. So I don't know how they break that down exactly. The graph shows the distribution by gender and its difference versus to the baseline. And so you can read more. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I want to do. The graph can be interpreted quantitatively to see gender distribution within the segment or audience, or compare the data to the baseline to uncover the most relevant in this audience. For example, if we are analyzing an audience with a general interest in football, it's likely that there's a greater percentage of men. Yeah, well, this is duh. Okay. Whew. Most of this stuff is written so uninformedly. Okay. Let's go back to this and take a look. So gender-wise, so again, this is, Lord, you let me have it? There we go. Okay, again, this is full audience and then global general, whatever that means. So, but full audience-wise, we've got 64.9% male and 35% female, which is not a bad ratio. I mean, for a high tech, for all of the followers, for NFT, for crypto and everything else, That's not bad. I'd like to see it more equalized, just for whatever reason. But that's not bad at all for a high-tech sector to have 35% women in my feed. So that's awesome. Shout out to the ladies. All right. United States of America, 44%. United Kingdom, 8%. Jody and Mish, you're in there. I see you. Canada, 6.5%. That's Brad, Music NFTs. He's from Canada. And so is Nifty Cat. Bunch of people. Nigeria, absolutely. Got to have Nigeria in there. They've had internet since 1970. It's over there. Australia, 4%. Definitely big in the NFT space. India, surprisingly, not a lot of people from India yet. A huge market, and crypto is exploding over there. So we anticipate our fellow Indian brethren and sistren to be coming over en masse at some point. Thailand, 2.3%. Indonesia, 1.89%. Philippines, 1.6%. And the Netherlands, 1.26%. So if we show the full table, let's see if we can... let's just show the full table there. Okay. I don't want that. All right, so cities. We can see the cities. We've got 8.6% in Los Angeles. Tax write-off. Representing. London, 7.4%. New York, 4%. Chicago, 3.7%. Solana. What? Hey, look. People live in Solana. That's amazing. Is that a real city? That's funny. I never thought of Solana as being a city. Oh, come on. Give me the thing. Let's see, Solana City. City of Solana Beach. Oh, Solana, California? Well, there you go. Solana Beach, California. All right. Back to it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so back to that. Let's look at age. We got our age range. And, this is my account, but I'm hoping that, hold on just a second. I am hoping that it will help you to kind of get a little bit better handle just generally on what the NFT market looks like, at least on Twitter. Because I think it's fairly representative overall. Okay. All right, so we have age range. So from 18 to 24, we've got 36%. 25 to 34, we've got 34%. And 12.7% for 35 to 44. And 45 to 54, which is in my range, we are representing with 10.5%. We got 10.5% old guys and girls, old guys and gals. And then the 13 to 17 age range, 4.5. And then we have 1.45% in the 55 to 64 range, which I believe would be some other people I know, like Doc Woo and Stacy Meyer and a few other people. So I'm getting there. I'm on a bullet train. All right, bio. The graph shows the distribution by most common words used by the audience to describe themselves and its variance from the baseline. So NFT, 28.16%, which beats out artist by 8%. Artist is 20.5%. That's interesting. And then we have art at 11.19. We have web at 9.71, NFTs at 9.24, NFTs, collection, creator, founder, digital, and crypto. So you can see we're definitely we're targeted, for lack of a better way to put it. And again here, this is I don't want to ever come off egotistically about this because it's not. It's just things are the way they are. If you're going to speak truth and speak reality, you have to speak truth and reality, whether it hurts or not, or whether it hurts people's feelings or not. And you don't want to hurt people's feelings, but that's just the truth. The internet was invented in English. It was made in English. Everything was written in English. All the manuals are in English. When you interact with the internet, typically, even though you don't have to, of course, a lot of people are working within the English language on the internet, primarily because most of them are focusing and working with the Western world in some capacity, and those are English-speaking people. So it doesn't surprise me at all that you'd have 75% of the people out there who are speaking English, at least as a second language as well. But that's 75%. Then you've got 0.59%. I see, that's weird. Okay, so 10% of Spanish globally, right? We're looking at globally. Former Indonesian, 2.2. Got some Persians, not very well represented. Some of these numbers I'm not sure of. But anyway, so it's interesting. We did this. We did the artist. And account distribution. And here we can see our map. So United States of America, Brazil's 0.63, Peru at 0.42, Colombia at 0.42, Argentina. Gosh, I never realized how big Argentina was. It's huge. Look at that. 0.21. South Africa. One of my favorite scenes in a movie is when, oh gosh, I forget his name. The black guy in Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 2. He was great actor. But he goes into that South African consulate wanting to immigrate to South Africa, and the South African Nazi guy's like, but you're black. I was like, I love that. And he's like, I am. It was great. Anyway, so Saudi Arabia, 0.42%, 2.53. This really shows the distribution. When we're talking about English and everything else, there you go. US 44%, Canada 6.5. We got Australia with 4, Italy, France 1. We got United Kingdom 8. Again, English-speaking countries. So when you are a person who is speaking another language besides English, and you do speak English, congratulations. I mean, please do not apologize. Seriously, do not apologize for the way you speak. If you truly can't be understood, that's different. Then you don't speak another language. But if you do speak another language and you just have a problem, of finding the right words sometimes, or stringing things together, as long as you can communicate in a fairly effective way as far as moving things along and getting your message across, nobody who's a decent person or in their right mind is going to make fun of you for that. I'm very impressed always with people who can speak more than one language. And honestly, I wish I could. I wish I'd learned earlier when I was younger, and I still have it on my bucket list of things I'd like to do. I'd like to maybe learn Chinese, so when they invade, I can figure out what the hell they're doing. But who knows? I think that when you are doing things online and you're using English as a second language, do the best you can. Don't apologize, because we are not. We don't deserve your apology in that regard, and just work harder at trying to sound authentic in another language. You have to be you, but you also have to understand that with every language, of course, there's different tics, different affections, different ways of pronouncing things, slang, and all those kinds of things that you can just learn just by going to things like Twitter Spaces, or even watching our videos and listening to people speak. So try to emulate them to some degree. You don't want to be, a robot emulating someone, but try to emulate the way Western speakers speak. When we come onto a space, for example, if I come onto a space and say, somebody says, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going?" And, my name's Chris, and I'll go into it, or I'll do a little back and forth, but I won't sit there and say, "Hey, how you doing?" and then let dead air happen for another 10 seconds. So if somebody has given you the mic, if somebody has given you permission to go ahead and speak or do whatever, you're going to want to go ahead and do it. Be concise, be clean, be quick, and provide information that excites and interests people enough to want them to answer, to ask you more questions. You don't have to answer every question under the sun about what it is you're doing in the first 3 minutes of your presentation. You want to leave a few things hanging so that people ask questions and that they're interested. So that's another factor as well that we'll get into in the future about presenting your projects and doing it in the best way possible. So this is a great breakdown of different things. David, Jenny, Chris, what? Project. I know a guy named Project online. This is weird. That's odd name. Crypto, NFT, Meta, David, Meta. See, you're never going to be able to defend that trademark, Meta, ever. Not in a million years. Dumbest name ever. Okay. Yeah, so that was that. And then there was another page that came up from the same site. This is the same site, audience.com. And this is under influencers and brands. And I was looking at this and I wasn't sure exactly how to do it. So if we go all countries selected, okay, influence all, macro influencers. Let's try macro influencers. See. Oh, I have to upgrade now. If I want to use that feature, I have to upgrade now. And let's do their, this one I think is the cheaper one. Oh, nope, it's not. $39 a month. I mean, I would love to see some of that data. I really would. And I get that data costs. That's the future, right? We're in the information economy. Everything is, you charge everything for it. You do an internet search on a name now and they want to charge you, to find phone numbers and different things. I get it. Information is power. Information is money. Data is money. This is not commensurate with what is going on in the world. I'm sorry. I'm not paying $40 a month for analytics on Twitter. Now, again, bigger companies with more established social media channels, full-time people working on them, absolutely. But there's, for $40, I mean, Creative Cloud charges me $55 a month or whatever it is with my annual plan. So you're talking about $15 a month difference for a company that gives me analytics on Twitter versus the entire freaking Creative Suite from Adobe. I mean, where in the world does that make sense? I'm sorry, it just doesn't. So great. Thank you, audience, for giving us some information. Thanks for nothing for giving us, all the upgrade now stuff. But we can see that, and I mean, look at it, $696 a month. Whew. I mean, what do you get for that? I don't even know. Okay. Anyway, let's go back to this. Okay. So we've got influencers, and for some reason, look at this number. Now, this must be within my own network, of course. So I would say that probably what we're looking at, uniqueness, reach, 1.89 million, look, 2.5K. Now, how am I in with 109 million with Elon Musk? So I'm not sure exactly how this ranking even matters or applies, but you can see 76.96 thousand uniques and 79.04 million probably for OpenSea. So, but this can give you information about different accounts and show you, like he's got 20.5 million. Snoop Dogg has 20.5 million reach. And these are all great things, just looking at data and kind of understanding how it all fits together, everything being connected, right? Everything is connected. Data is connected. Accounts are connected. How you search the data, how you look at the data, the things you can glean from it. You got 4.4 million for Vitalik. We've got Foundation, so look at that. I mean, Vitalik has tons more reach than Foundation right there. But the uniqueness is about the same. Coinbase, 5.38 million. So this just gives you an interesting kind of overview. Again, if you want all of the data, you're going to have to pay for it. But this audience site has pretty interesting information. Movies, television, these are interests, society, music. Music, of course, is huge. Technology, business and industrial, travel. So it does help you get a little bit better handle on who your audience is. Their socioeconomics, you can see here. It's actually, this site does, to their credit, they do provide some interesting information, some interesting data for free. College grad, we have about 20%, give or take, that are college grads. High school, graduate 10%, some college, some high school, in college, master's degree. Let's go back to the screen for you. So in grad school, doctorate degree, 0.06. Associate degree, 0. Interesting. That can't be right. I don't even know where, sometimes when you see these numbers, like, where are they pulling these numbers from? But all we have are numbers sometimes to go on. So we got administrative services, management, sales, production, education, arts. I'm not seeing high numbers here. Food. Yeah, see, that's the full audience. So I don't see the numbers adding up to 100 there. I'm not sure how that works. Relationship status, married, single, in a relationship, engaged. Wow. Oh, that's 1.17. Divorced, widowed, open relationship. 0.25% of people were willing to admit they were in an open relationship. Household income, only U.S. So we've got 1.19% that are in the 50 to 75 bracket. 1% that are in the 75 to 100. Yeah, see, I don't know. I guess everybody else is going to be under that. So everybody else who's under 50,000 is going to be, most people, unfortunately. Or, well, no, I'm sorry. So it's 50 to 75, 75 to, yeah. So, okay, 40 to 49. This chart is weird. It's organized improperly. So, yeah, a lot of people under the $40,000 mark. We know that. Okay, so looks like about it there. And then media affinity. The TV shows, and this is interesting. This audience site actually is pretty good as far as some of the things it offers you as far as analytics and data. So yeah, we can see Paris Hilton, okay, CNBC, Bloomberg, Netflix, Tonight Show, Chef, Rick and Morty, it's SNL. Content. Let's see content. Welcome to your new content tab. Okay. Click next to continue. You say, oh, geez. Okay. All right. So domains. Selected by the number of times found in audience published content. So we've got OpenSea, Foundation, Object, Discord. Ah, that's interesting. Creator at Night Cafe Studio. That was one of the first, if not the first, second AI app I used, web-based app to create AI artwork. Creator.nightcafe.studio. Known origin. We have Linktree, Telegram, Voice, Instagram, Pixels, Pixels.ai. I wonder what that is. Pixels.ai. You're going to bear with me. I want to look. Pixels.ai. This is how I find things for you. I stream around. Pixels AI art generator. Really? Start creating free. Pricing. Start creating free. Pricing. Okay, so $3 for one resource hour. Yeah, so that's $3 per, yeah. That's not cheap. So there's way better things, ways to do it, like Lambda and other sites. So Pixels is probably easier. Again, you pay for easier. Abso-frickin-lutely, you pay for easier. One way or the other, you pay for it. Okay. Damn it, I don't want Twitter. Okay. All right, so that was Pixels. We'll go back here. Super Rare Spatial. Okay. TEIA.art. Manifold, Premint, Form Function, and Amazon. So, yeah, interesting list of things you'd want to see in a feed like mine. Mentioned users. So Who's this? Art Alicia Anton. Artist, painter, and creator. 63,000. I'm following her, and she's following me. Good. I almost unfollowed you, Alicia. Oh, look at that. Poland. And she currently works and lives in France. Well, I'm 25% Polak. So, hello, fellow Polak. All right. Okay. Interesting art. Well, she's evidently pretty popular. Didn't even know I was following her. All right, so go back. Hashtags being the most popular. We've got NFT community. You can wait from there. NFTs, AI art, NFT art, and something in Arabic. I saw that before. NFT artist, Tezos, and ETH, and then art. So you can see I'm kind of targeting. just a little bit. Okay, so there's that content. Personality. Let's look at personality. Cult of personality. I'm neurotic. Oh my Lord. I love these charts. I did a Briggs-Myers test one time, and it was like, yeah, he's Genghis Khan. So 50% neurotic, 48% agreeable, 60% open, 50% conscientious, and 8% extroverted. Okay. I'm just not sure what to do with those charts. So what does that mean? I hate those charts. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Personality dimensions. Neuroticism. I love that word. Neuroticism. It's like eroticism, but neurotic. The extent to which their emotions and are sensitive to their environment. Get a therapy llama, quick. Prone to worry, self-assured, mild-tempered, calm under pressure. Everybody seems about even. They could go either way, calm or raging lunatic. So cautious of others, trusting. Everything seems to kind of be about in the middle side. I don't really see this being too useful, at least besides the fact to know that 50% of you are neurotic. Buying mindset. Let's see. Purchase influence factors. I ain't got no money. Oh, that's a purchase influence factor. Brand name. Members of this audience that are likely to be influenced by brand names. Well, there you go. Half of Earth, if not more. Online ads. What are we doing here? Global in general. So, this is interesting, too. Look at this. This is a factor to kind of bring up. Online ads. 46% domestically, 46.9, so 47%. And 62.42% globally are more likely to be influenced by online ads. So why do you think that is? I know why it is. Sidebar blindness. The amount of time we've been online and looking at things, the ability that I have, that many do, with which to block out everything but the content that it is that they're looking for. So online ads are less effective. They're very effective, of course, but they're less effective in America than they are globally. And I would assume, and probably rightfully so, that the reason that is because you have a lot of newer internet users. You have a lot of people who are experiencing online shopping for the first time in other countries when broadband or cellular services get to them. So you're going to have that number makes a lot of sense. And then social media, members of this audience that are likely to be influenced by social media, you're looking at about the same numbers, a little higher and a little lower. Again, showing the relative age and experience of the average internet user, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and switch over to here. There we go. Okay, so that's online ads and then social media. Friends and family. Members of this audience that are likely to be influenced by friends and family, 35% and 45%. Now, I think that that number is interesting because I don't think it takes into account one important factor. And that factor is influencer marketing and influencer tribalism. I believe very, very strongly that as we expand our friendships and our communities and our families, not actual families, but, families out into the internet, and we increase our exposure to other people via the new methods and metaverses and things coming up, that the people that are likely to be influenced by friends, whether you call like me a friend or not, influencers would be a big part to add to this, I think, because influencers, if you add influencers are people that a lot of people would consider, friends to some degree, internet friends, or somebody that they trust and can relate to. So an influencer, I think, would dramatically bump that number up and will as we go forward. I think that the connections that people make en masse with other people are going to make this number more important. Product utility, members of this audience that are likely to be influenced by features of a product, 32 and 19%. That's an interesting number too. I mean, if it's anywhere near accurate, that says that, fully 60% of people, at least domestically, don't generally get influenced by the features of a product when they're buying it. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. Consumer behavior, credit cards. Members of this audience that are likely to prefer using credit cards for shopping, 66% and 56%. This is just a catch-up kind of thing. Campaigns. Members of the audience that are likely to respond to marketing campaigns. Okay, well, again, marketing campaigns, if you look at direct mail, I use this analogy all the time because we did it a lot back in the day before the internet, which was direct mail campaigns. Let's say you mail out 100,000 mailers to a neighborhood of 100,000 homes, and it's for carpet cleaning service. You're going to have anywhere typically from about 0.25 to 1%, maybe a little bit more, of responses that are going to turn into sales. 3% in direct mail, and you are batting 1,000. You're doing fantastic. You're a rock star. So out of 100,000 mailers sent out, if you can get 1,000 people to take advantage of your service or buy your product, then you're doing very, very well. So if we take that 1% analogy and apply it across all of media, all of social media, anything, and not that necessarily applies all the time, but if you were to take that 1% and just say, okay, everything I do, I'm going to have to do 100x to get that 1x. If you have that mindset, then the fact that you only get 6 watches on a video or this or that, it doesn't bother you so much because you're thinking about it longer term. You're thinking about it. How can I, use this content over and over again? How can I do different things with it? So marketing campaigns are going to be effective only in so much as they're targeted to the right people. They are well done. They get the message across, and they engage people. And like I said, that with all of those boxes, ticked, you're still going to have what would, for people who aren't in the business, what would be considered very, very low results number-wise, but they're actually very good. So it's one of those things where you have to take things with a grain of salt. Your numbers are not going to reflect reality if you haven't done the kind of marketing and things like mass mailing or mass emails or into the digital realm. If you haven't done those kinds of things before and haven't seen the results and haven't seen the numbers firsthand and done A/B testing and all that kind of stuff, then those small percentages might shock and surprise you, but they don't shock and surprise anyone in advertising. Spur of the moment. Members of the audience that are likely to indulge in spur of the moment purchases. Well, yeah, we all do it. You know, the impulse aisle at the grocery store, whatever. But we, you know, it doesn't surprise me that 30% of people in this country, at least by this number, would just buy anything on impulse, pretty much. So, and then again, 53% of the rest of the world probably boils down to new users, new internet users, new internet connectivity, people getting new phones, you know, internet for the first time, that kind of thing. Targeted ads, members of the audience that are likely to respond to targeted advertising. So targeted versus campaigns. So you have about a 9-point difference in when you target a campaign versus just a campaign itself. So that's interesting. And then it falls down to much lower, actually. 16, look at this. Campaigns, 13. So you only gain about 2 points, about 3, a little under 3 points globally. But again, you know, that 3 points, if you're doing 3 million targeted emails or whatever it may be, it makes a difference. Absolutely makes a big difference. So that is interesting. And the last one we have are online habits. So let's take a look at that. We have desktop and mobile. Okay. Very interesting. Look at those numbers. I did not expect that at all. Look at those numbers for desktop and mobile. Take a minute to look at that. That is really, really interesting. I figured it would be flipped. As far as the numbers go, let's go ahead and take a look just real quick and see if we can find any statistics on what was I looking for here? Hold on. Desktop, mobile, yeah. Desktop and mobile. That was terrible. And mobile internet use 2022. Okay. Oberlo, that's an interesting site. Let's see, startup.house, broadbandsearch.net. Let's see what they've got to say. Okay, share of traffic. Okay, now let's see where this data is coming from. We'd like to note, however, this data is worldwide. About 50% of people use a desktop. Time spent on websites still favors desktops with 55.9% of the time. So this is in opposition, 100,000 Google searches made every second. This is in opposition to what I was... here we go. Okay. Mobile searches consist of about 60% of all search volume. Okay. So the last I'd heard, the number was cruising up towards 80%. But as you can see, we're on a rapid trajectory. I don't know why it fell down, actually, and that's kind of interesting. But we're on a rapid trajectory from 2011 being, 6% of the market, which, remember phones in 2011, to 56% in 2021. So I'm going to, venture to say that there's no problem with gaining at least a few points here in 2022, if not 10. I mean, the last I heard the number was 80% of the web is now mobile. So these numbers may be off, but it gives you a mean. Whenever you're looking for numbers, that's one of the things with statistics and numbers. It is who is generating these numbers, why are they generating, what's the reason for putting those numbers out? Do they have an ulterior motive? Any number of things can skew data and get it to the point where you're not sure which, what's right and what's wrong. When I look at these kinds of numbers, I'm just trying to get a mean. I'm trying to get a value that gives me a baseline of understanding. With data analysts, people who are, that's their career is, data analytics. They like to drill down and get much more granular in their searches and in their indexing and in their numbers, and they like everything to be, just right. But for our purposes, for most small business purposes, these are just numbers that are helpful to kind of look at from time to time and say, where are we going? When you're designing when you're designing websites, for example, one of the things that I've had to reluctantly kind of wrap my mind around is when I design a website, I'm designing for mobile first. So everything that I do when we use like the Divi theme, that's our, we have a lifetime subscription to Elegant Themes Divi, and that's a front end builder for WordPress, graphical, interface for building pages. When I go and design on that, we're automatically, as artists, we're automatically limited by the delivery mechanism itself, i.e. HTML, web pages, CSS, all those things. And so, for an artist, I like a big canvas, I want to paint all over it and do all kinds of fun stuff. Websites are limiting. You have to do images of certain sizes and fits and covers and all those different things. And it's not conducive to the pure creative process. There's a lot of left brain stuff that goes into it. So when I am designing websites, my preferred mode of designing would be, of course, for desktop, because you have more screen real estate. You've got more, positive and negative space to play with. It definitely becomes something that you can make look prettier than you necessarily could a mobile website. But with responsive design and scaling websites and the way you design them now, I go in with the Divi theme and I'll automatically go to the iPhone version. There's phone, tablet, desktop. I'll go to the phone version first and start designing that, laying that out, making sure that looks good first, and then making sure the desktop site looks good. Whereas in the past, I would have done it the exact opposite. So, designing for mobile is absolutely something that you need to keep front of your mind. Absolutely front of your mind. So, global traffic for mobile. Okay, getting back to the statistics here. So anyway, desktop 48%, mobile 30%. I don't think those numbers are right, but we'll just move on. 58% at 37% for global. Again, maybe we're just on the cusp of that really flipping, but I think those numbers should be flipped. I think there's way more people on mobile globally than there are desktop. Content type. The graph shows the content type published by the audience, their own content, answering to conversations, or third-party content. This is very interesting. So we've got their own content. 56% of you people are actually making original content. So that means that 44% or 43% or so of you are not and are just liking and retweeting. Replies, only 20% of you are replying to tweets, which is 24% actually globally. So, we're right off the bat, 1 out of 4 people that are potentially seeing your tweets, or at least to hear, or mine, aren't even interacting. So, and then shares, we have 22.34% of shares. So 1 in 5, give or take. Amplification shows how many times the contents published by the users within the audience are shared. So 0 to 10 is about 50% of the time, 48.6. 10 to 100 is 36. But that's a big jump right there. 100 to 1,000 is 9.8. That's decent. And over 1,000 is 4.72. Okay, so active days. This is going to be interesting. I'd like to see this. These are the kind of things that you can glean, and we'll talk about times as well, but times of day, the days that you post stuff, the days that you decide to do Twitter Spaces, the time in relation to Greenwich Mean Time versus where everybody else is in the world, where your audience may be. Those are the kinds of things that if you start thinking more like a computer in a way, if you start thinking about all this data as like, how can this data work for me? How can I make it helpful to me? You can see that, right now we have a pretty even distribution of days. Go back here. From Wednesday, we've got 15, 15, 15, 14, 13, 12, 12. So right now, Monday, Saturday, and Sunday seem to be the worst for doing anything, but not by much. So the network seems to have a fairly, at least my network seems to have a fairly consistent pace of usage throughout the week. That doesn't change too much. Doesn't change too much. Let's see here. We have active hours. Okay. So the graph shows the time frames when the users within the audience are more active in social networks. So 18 to 23, I guess this would be, this is military time. So that would be 8 to midnight, right? Mm-hmm. And then midnight to 7. No, 12 to 17. That would be 12 to 5. Yeah. And then, okay. So, all right. So you got the most interaction between 8 p.m. and midnight. And that, that makes sense. I'm interacting more. I'm on the East Coast. The West Coasters have all woken up and gotten their coffee and their microdose, and they're off and running. So, 8 to midnight is kind of the magic hours for us in the space. But then we also, of course, are doing a lot during the daytime as well. So that's helpful knowledge to have. And then we got applause. This graph shows how many times the contents published by the users within the audience are liked. So 10 to 100, 42%, 29. And we're not doing too bad. I mean, the numbers reflect an active Twitter user base, an active membership. The demographics are primarily where they're supposed to be in the countries that, you would think that they would be in. And we have a really clean account with very little garbage in it. So that's valuable. That's valuable. And as we continue to grow it and we continue to build this up, we cherish that, we guard that viciously. We do. We have had many offers. Excuse me. We've had many offers to promote a project with a couple of tweets for $700, to, make this video for thousands of dollars, in ETH and all of these different things. And our reputation is so much more important than that. Not to say that we are not rich. Trust me, we have a mortgage payment, we have car payments, we are doing this all bootstrapping everything. We were blessed to be able to, have a little bit of money and have some businesses do well for us. So we are in pretty much the same position that everybody else is in who has put their heart and soul into something and wants very much for it to pay off, and they're going to work very hard to see it pay off. But this is, I wouldn't say it's a make or break thing, but it's close. We are working on this very, very hard to make something very real for all of us, myself included, that we care very deeply about. And to throw that away by retweeting somebody for a few bucks that winds up doing a rug pull and scamming everybody, that would freak me out. It would not be good at all. So we don't do it. And we will work with people. We will work with projects. We will incubate some. We'll help some artists promote. We've got some great, really cool stuff coming up that I can't say yet, but we've got some great stuff coming up that artists are going to be able to participate in to get their stuff out in physicals and in digital in a new way, in a different way. Just some great stuff. But all of those things are reliant on you being able to trust us. Being able to say, yeah, those people They're moral, they're upstanding, they're not going to rip us off. They're working their butts off to make sure that you have the best information, that you don't get scammed. I mean, we can't do everything, of course, and we wouldn't claim we could, but we're doing the best we can for the community right now for free because we care. We want this community to be built up. We want the artists and the people in it to be amplified, and to the ones who are, who want to be good can be made good. The ones who are currently good can be, great. And the ones who are great we can do amazing things with. And we curate and we tell people we're not, going to accept this if it's not up to this level. We are about the real. We want real things in the virtual, and we want virtual things in the real. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this, but we are not going to throw it away by promoting some little NFT project for $500 that makes us look bad in the process. That is not how you do business. So when it comes to Twitter, again, let's go back real quick. Making posts. Let's talk about, we've gone for a while already. When you make a new tweet, there's good mornings and good night tweets. We do that every day just because we've been doing it for so long. It seems like, why stop now? But you can issue good morning and good night tweets. You can put your artwork, like I said, in there. You can post to videos. You can make links to different things. Pin tweets. A lot of people will talk about pin tweets and say that you should change your pin tweet all the time. I've not seen any evidence to either way, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Our tweet right here, as you can see, our pin tweet has been up since 7/17, and we only changed a couple of words and the image itself. But this one right now already has 101 retweets, 195 likes, and 21 comments. And that is a good thing to be able to show people first thing that if they tap on your profile, the first pinned tweet shows that you've got some traction. So if you keep changing your pinned tweet, to me, that says that you're not going to be able to do that. And that might be a bad thing depending on how you look at it. Again, these are not hard and fast rules. These are things we have found out. These are things we have discovered in researching and learning and streaming around, looking at what other people are saying. And we will definitely be working on getting some experts in all of these fields on to talk to both myself and you about how to better do all these networks. There are people who focus specifically on certain social networks and social marketing in general, and we've done a ton of that in our life as well. But you can always learn something new, and we are always in the mood to learn something new. So again, Twitter is very powerful, but you have to use it like a person. Don't go crazy with too many tweets or retweets in any given period of time. If you think that it might look a little spammy or a little body, don't do it. You can, any number of things can get you shadow banned. I know that when people are shadow banned, I was told, and again, this is not information I am personally aware of being totally true or not, but I was told that if you were shadow banned, that you would have to basically be off Twitter for like a week and not tweet anything, and then you'd be unshadow banned. And so I'm going to ask a friend of mine, Master Builder, about that because she was shadow banned, and see what the reality of that is. But you don't want to be shadow banned. You don't, and these are they own the network. That's the thing, is you can complain and bitch about it all you want, but you're on their network. You're in their house, and when you are in someone's house, you play by their rules. And unfortunately, Twitter's rules suck. So, or they're non-existent. They just kind of make them up as they go along. But interact with people. If you like people's artwork, tell them you like it. Don't like everything under the sun. Don't like it just because you want somebody to follow you or whatever. Be real, be consistent. If you have honest critique, do it in a nice way. Always make sure if you're critiquing someone's artwork or giving them a suggestion that you point out the positive before you accentuate the negative. And for artists out there who are struggling to find their voice on social media and in Twitter, I would say that, you are your story as much as your art. You need to learn how to tell compelling stories and do it quickly. find out what works for you and what doesn't. Test things out. What's this? Homeboy Flicks. Looks like Michael Jackson. I hope that's not the guy. Chris Cray is a good guy. So yeah, a lot of. Let's do a few shout outs. We've got some people going on here. Let's see. We've got. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, we got Cristiano and MP3 here. They're hanging out in Vegas the other night with Marie. Shout out to Marie. These are fellers from the Expert Advice crew. That's Cristiano Covino there. He's a guy I'm working with on some projects, including Ethereum, which we are very excited about. And so shout out to him. Now that's Marie is another, she's one of our pirate ladies. Marie Andrea. I think that's how you say it. Crypto and Dream. So she's part of the pirate crew, and I hope that we're going to be working together doing some web stuff together. So shout out to her. We have a bunch of really cool people. Let's see, there's Walt Disney. He's another one of our pirate guys. There we go. Walt Disney IF. Nice guy. Definitely give him a follow. And just all of these communities, all of Twitter, Spatial, Clubhouse, all of these tools that allow us to communicate with audio or video or even in the metaverse. All of these things are great ways to communicate and connect with people. We have been absolutely blessed to meet some tremendous people. NFT Talk.space. I did want to check on them real quick and show you a couple of things. They are, this is a very cool site. Kabir over at NFT Talk.space. You can find him on Twitter, and this is his website. So I did go over this before, but this is a very helpful site for people who are doing Twitter Spaces, co-hosting, listening, hosting, that kind of thing. You can check out where you are on the leaderboard. So if we go ahead and search for the StreamCatcher, and there I am, and you can see that, might help to be on the right page. Yeah, so NFTtalk.com right here. And live now, you can see the spaces that are currently live right now and are related to NFTs or Web3 and crypto. I think NFT, Web3, and crypto, I think, are the hashtags that he looks for in the titles. There we go. Use a hashtag like NFT, Web. See, now he's so smart. He listens. NFT, Web3, NFT Talk, Metaverse, PFP. Okay. And to exclude your space, use private or the lock emoji. Very interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that, Kabir. Very good job. Live people. So we can see people who are currently live on Twitter Spaces right now. And if we click on them, we can see that that is Hidden Kitty City, an up-and-coming NFT Talk host, ranked number 206. So if we go back to here and go to, we love analytics. Yes, we do. All right. Analytics are good. Let's do the StreamCatcher again. Okay. Oh, see now. That's because I spell it wrong. I think after 48 years of typing, I could do a better job. All right. The StreamCatcher. Rare. Rank rare. I don't like it rare. I like it medium well. All right, rank number 97. I made the top 100. Look at that. And I'm currently offline. We're going to fix that problem and blast this into Twitter Spaces at the same time, too. But yeah, sign up to get 500 virtual Space Bucks tokens. You can sign up for free. I was ranked 97 in October of 2022. Hey, there's my stream queen, my lovely lady. And there's Kabir. Hey, and his lovely lady. And there's Cristiano. Oh, jeez. Well, we made some connections here. And then there's Master Builders with a back. Whoa, they're all. Whoa, there's the VAC, Mish and Jody. Why were they reversed? Oh, see, now there he is. That's cool. And there's tax. Look at that. Well, little plugs already. And there's my stream queen. All right. I'd like to thank her so much for all of the work she has done in helping us get all of this together, taking care of the studio and our business and our home and our animals and all of the great things she does to make sure that I can do the things that I do. So thank you, honey. I love you very much. I hope that we are able to help you get better. She's going through some post-COVID issues, and just pray that you get better real fast. Love you, baby, with all my heart. So back to NFT space, NFT talk.space. We can go again into our, back to home. That's interesting. My stats. He's definitely working on this like in live time. So go to our dashboard here. And you can see, I can tweet my profile link. So we can, this is my actual profile link, so I can tweet it. And check out my Twitter Spaces activities. Okay, here you go, Kabir, on NFT Talk. NFT Talk.space. All right. Yeah, I know, that's kind of weird. I know it says it in the URL, but I want it to, oh, here, yeah, NFT Talk. That'll work. All right. Bink. Okay, done. All right. Hide that. Yeah, so back to NFT Talk. Is your PFP updated? I can sync my PFP. So I'm constantly changing my PFP for the pirate crew, Cristiano. Let's go back here. Okay. So rewards and transactions. I have 5,660 virtual space bucks. And I've claimed them all. It shows your reward points, your rate, the dates of which they were rewarded to you, your account summary, and then we can go to analytics, and you can see speaking time and any number of things like that. So very cool. He's adding stuff to it and making it better all the time. And we are definitely rooting for him to do cool things for the NFT space. He's also doing a sports talk space that he's going to kind of try to merge the, do crossover with the different groups. So let's go ahead and go to, I keep on saying, so Twitter Audit, is that what it is? I think that's the one. This is another one that you can get, that you can use. And you just type in your name, and it will go out and check for you, and then you can authorize the app with your Twitter. This is just doing an API call, nothing more. So did it not? Okay, check. Oh, well, I had done this once before, so now it won't let me see it. Okay, so you can only do it once for sure, but Twitter Audit will allow you to do that once for free. So that's another site. So we're, jeez, I'm gonna have to do a Sojar or something. Social networks, social media, when it comes to business and when it comes to building your brand, are just like any other business. There's, of course, differences and things you have to deal with depending on what technology, what media, what social medium you're dealing with. But everything takes time. Everything takes time. It takes sometimes money. You can sit there. I have done this, and I encourage you not to do this. You can work very, very hard on something. You can bust your butt and you can create a great website and you can create great content and you can do all these things. But if you don't have a network to broadcast your message out, if you don't have the money to advertise, if you don't have the social media network built, if you don't have certain things in place, anything you build may be the greatest thing in the world, but nobody will ever see it. Now, with social media, it's definitely different than years ago when I did a business that I'm referring to now and failed because I did not have any money to do any kind of marketing whatsoever, and there was no social media at the time to kind of do it myself like I am now. Even with YouTube, it wasn't really like this. It was barely functioning. So when you have those kinds of situations happen where you work your butt off, but you just are missing the one component, that almost always, people, it almost always comes down to money, right? I mean, we are all money shy unless we're rich. We're all needing money for something, whether it's a new computer or a new business tool or funding to start your business or funding to advertise it, whatever it may be. You have to really, really put in the time and effort and energy and have the proper resources to do whatever it is you're wanting to do. As an artist myself, I don't necessarily want to sit here and build studios all day long or network things all day long or do websites all day long. I would like to create content. I'd like to create great 3D and great motion graphics and great art and great prints and models and just create. I'd like to create all day long, right? So being in a utopia and everybody, gets their universal basic income and we all can create and there's a Star Trek replicator and yeah, that's fantasy, right? That doesn't happen. So you have to do things all the time that you don't want to do in order to do the things that you do want to do. You have to really, really work hard and you have to put in the effort and you have to put in the energy and you have to have something at the end of the day that people will want. When you go onto Twitter and you put out a bunch of drawings and you say you're building a community and it's about mental health or it's about this or it's about that, you're not compelling me. And when I say that, don't get me wrong. There may be people that need your mental health services. There may be people that need certain things out of you. But to me, that's not a full business. That's not, unless you're in the mental health sector and you're actually doing mental health as a full-time job, your community shouldn't necessarily be based on a mental health community, because you starting a project, putting out a bunch of images, saying, I'm starting a Discord and we're all going to get together and bitch about how our life sucks or how mentally messed up we are. That does not take most people's, decision-making factors and go, okay, I'm going to spend my time over there. It's kind of like when you're an artist and you're showing very, maybe disturbing scenes of children being hungry or war-torn areas and things like that. Again, they're important. Those images are important to the world, to people. Things like that do need to be seen. If you're an artist, however, and you're sitting there on Twitter and you've got 20 images of starving children and you're trying to sell them to people as art, you're probably going to have a bad time of it. And why are you going to have a bad time of it? Not because people don't care. I mean, you might get some people buying a couple pieces out of pity. You might get a couple people buying them because they truly love them and that they feel compelled to help other children because of it. You will definitely have that. But the great majority of people do not tend to buy pictures of suffering and put it on their walls as art. That's just the case. So you have to know your market. You have to know who you're selling to. You have to know if it's able to be sold into that market, if there is an audience for it. Dark artists, for example, if you're a dark artist and you do dark art and occult art and all that kind of stuff, you're absolutely pigeonholing yourself into a sector of people that like that kind of thing and to a large sector of people that do not. So your targeting becomes that much more important. Who you're going after, where you're going after them, why you're going after them, how you're going after them, everything counts and matters to your bottom line, to how much money you're spending on getting the word out, or time. Time is money. Absolutely. Anybody tells you different is an idiot. Time is absolutely money. You need to figure out how much your time is worth per hour. Like realistically, my time right now is worth about $100 an hour, realistically. Even though I'm not charging for that, I'm not making that currently, I'm giving everything away for free, I can turn around and easily charge $100 an hour for any given number of things that I can do. So my base rate, when I factor things in, even getting groceries out of the car or whatever, I mean, of course, I do it for my wife because I love her, but you factor in your time, you factor in the value, you factor in the money. When lawyers are great at doing this, you call a lawyer for 3 minutes and they'll bill you. That's the way it is. And we of course can't be like that as artists, but the point is that you need to know your value, you need to know your worth, you need to know how much your time is worth and how much you need in order for anybody to have some of your time, if you're going to be selling it for whatever reason, whether it's consulting or business services or anything like that. How much are you worth? Define and decide that. These are all important factors that come into play when you're deciding how to approach your social media game, how to approach Twitter in general. And again, desperation is another factor. Of course, I've been desperate for money. I have been to the place where I've made bad decisions because I've been desperate for money, and lost, more money, or any number of things can happen when you're desperate. So it's hard, very, very hard when you are in a position that you need money, you need to feed your family, whatever it may be. You are motivated very, very highly to go out and make yourself a success. But when you are desperate, sometimes you can make really, really bad decisions and make really bad mistakes. So if you are trying very hard to make it as an artist or to make it as a content creator and you don't have some kind of fallback position, I would say that that's probably not a very smart idea. When I have gone through my entire life and I have not sold one fine art painting, although I've done a lot of fine art, I've done a lot of cartooning, a lot of other kinds of painting and different things. And I've given art away. I've given, to family and friends, but all of the work I've done artistically for money has been for commercial purposes, for magazine covers, for magazine articles, for any number of publications, for advertisements, for any number of things, full-blown pieces of art, just that were for different things. So I'm excited to be able to go into a new field, I believe, the NFT area, where you have the ability to take digital content and provide real provenance to it. That's going to offer me the ability to create some great art and to test some things and to do some stuff. So we're creating a new account on Twitter, and it will be available soon. We will be dropping hints on we have dropped hints actually already, but we'll be dropping official announcements soon on our Twitter channel on StreamCatcher Society. And we'll be putting out this new account not only for ourselves to promote the new site and the artwork that I'll be dropping, but also to go along and show you how we build up an account on the fly. We're going to build up it's Bouncing Skull. We're going to build it up and we're going to show you, we're going to do A/B testing. We're going to link to things. We're going to talk to other artists. We're going to do collabs. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff with the account. And we're going to show you how to build up a Twitter account from basically zero. So okay. And on that note, we're hitting about 1:54 in the afternoon. So we are about 5 minutes from closing up. I want to thank everybody so much for coming to today to hang out and listen to me ramble on endlessly. I hope some information was helpful to you, and we'll definitely be going over a ton more. If you have any suggestions for future shows, things you'd like to see us cover, we are running a wide range. We're doing everything from AI art and 3D to business and how you bring it all together. We want to help you succeed no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing. Take a business mindset, take a business approach, be professional. It's up to you whether you want to have that be a gangster OG professional or you want that to be a three-piece suit professional. But whatever your way is, whatever your tact is, whatever you take, realize that people out there have first impressions. They judge you often unfairly for those first impressions. And the image that you want to put across should be easy. It should be comfortable. It should be something that's real and raw and true to you. But again, it should be consistent. It should be professional, and it should be something that you take very seriously, because even people that are taking the time to read your tweet, if you want interactions with them, if you want them to be your customer in your community or anything else, you have to respect the fact that they're taking the time to even read the tweet, let alone like it or respond to it. So if somebody thanks you for tweeting them or retweeting them, thank them. Thank them back. Keep the conversation going. Move things forward. Show that you care enough about someone to retweet their tweet and to add a comment about their work beyond just liking it or just retweeting it. So be a human being, show that you care. Don't go crazy with tons of retweets and all kinds of things that would throw up signals that you might not be, that you might be less than human. And just try to go about everything you do professionally with the utmost of care, concern, and moral turpitude. Be the best you can be, and it will show, and people will follow you. So until then, until next time, we're going to be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m., and we're going to be talking about something. I don't know what yet. And Monday, we have a Twitter space coming up that I scheduled online on this show for 11 a.m. on Monday, Eastern time. And we're going to talk about how we can get a bunch of owners working together. Might be interesting. So thanks again for tuning in to StreamCatcher Society. We want to wish you all a great weekend. Have a great time. Find balance in your life. Go have fun as well. Enjoy yourself, even if that's just hanging out with your significant other, playing with your pets, whatever it may be. Have a good time. Enjoy the day. And I will see you very soon on Twitter and on YouTube and everywhere else, because we're coming for everything. Nah, just what we want. The best. Take care, people.